Okay, we're live.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and please join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
There we go. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'd like to approve the minutes, last minutes for September 25th, 2023.
Our second?
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And I will entertain a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from 9/25/2023 through 10/5/2023. Payment number 775-2023 through 784-2023. Warrant number 12252 is voided, and 12254 through 12284 for a total of $56,395.10.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, Andrew?
All right. So the first thing I have, we've had discussions previously about the heating and air over at the firehouse. Valentino's has started work on that. At current, he has only been charging us his labor cost, which has saved us about $2,370 so far. He's a township resident. He says he understands the tax dollars, so we are very grateful for him, and currently it's working fantastic, so we haven't had any issues. I have an update on tornado siren on California. I received a call from Mobilecom 2 days ago. They are going to send the motherboard for that siren out to Federal Signal to test the motherboard to see if that may be the issue with it. This is the one that we had going off continuously for a couple hours twice. So once they get an update on that, they'll give me a call and let me know. And then I received the one for the siren down in Shandon that didn't go off the other day, so I'll let them know about that as well.
Okay, great.
The third thing I have is a motion to move firefighter EMT Brad Owens from paid on call to part-time status, raising his pay rate to $17 an hour effective 10/14 of 23.
So you're bringing him on
Yeah,
part-time?
Yep, so Brad completed, when we did that EMT class with Riley,
Yeah.
Brad was part of that. So Brad passed his class test and just passed his national registry, so now he's a certified EMT.
Perfect.
So now that he's dual, he wants to work part-time for us.
So he's going to be on a shift?
I believe he's going to be PRN right now, but he has responded multiple times from home, and he's actually been a savior for us a couple times. So
Great.
Okay.
Second. So moved.
So moved?
Mr.
Second.
Brucker?
And I'll do a second. All right. He'll do.
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Send him our congratulations too.
I will.
That's
I will.
That's a
And we
big
have
deal.
Approved.
we have one more person too that's getting ready to take their national registry from that class as well. So
Okay.
once he passes, we'll do the same thing with him.
Great.
The last thing I have is a then and now PO to Bushelman Supply for $2,906.63. So I told you guys about the 2 springs that had broken previously. We had ordered 3 springs and a spare. When they came, pretty much the other 2 springs were on their last leg as well. So that day they went ahead and replaced all 4 springs. So now we have all new springs for the doors of the firehouse. And then they are coming to do the openers. They're still waiting on, I think, 1 more to come in before they come do that project.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
That's all I have.
Do you have an update on the tanker?
I do not have an update on the tanker. It is still missing an axle right now down at Vogelpool. They actually had to pull the front axle to get to the ABS system. So they said it would be easier to do down there at their shop versus doing it here in our station. So what we've done is we've brought engine 142 up, and our crews are running out of engine 141 and 142 right now.
They give you any ballpark figure of what we could expect for cost for the repairs?
I told them as soon as they get something, I said, you need to let me know.
Yeah, because we don't want to give them a blank check here.
No.
That they got free reign to do whatever they
No.
want.
So I spoke to the rep from them and told them that I need that ASAP.
Okay,
So
we'll stay on them.
I will.
Okay.
And what's the Vogel Pool van out there?
So that's the one that they actually, instead of us having to take the tanker down there, they came and picked it up.
Oh,
So he just
okay.
left his van here. We had heard that it was supposed to be back the next day, and I'm not even sure if they've touched it yet.
Okay.
So.
And what do you think about bringing the Razor up here, your ATV vehicle, while we do park surveying and move around into the park?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be operationally reasonable to let that come up here
Yeah,
for a couple months?
absolutely.
Okay.
So we just have to reconfigure a couple things. So now that the tanker's gone, we have the space for it. But once it comes back, we'll just reconfigure a couple things and
Okay.
we'll get it in the bay there. So
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, Mark?
So I got a few things here for Rob. We've been working on a ditching project this week on Schraden. We had to tear out some trees and move an old fence to get the ditch off the road. Then we had to have new tires put on the backhoe. They were worn out, and actually one went flat when we was ditching. So we need a PO for $1,560 to Best General Contracting.
How bad are those tires?
They were pretty bad
$1,500 for two
for
tires?
2 tires, rear tires.
So it's $750 a piece. Then
Yes.
that's not too bad.
No, I didn't
I didn't think
it
it'd be
was bad.
that cheap.
That wasn't bad.
Will they come out here to install them, or do we?
We actually have it down there. They're gonna put them on.
You took the backhoe down there? Did you put it on a trailer, or did you drive it?
We actually borrowed a tire from Ross Township to finish the project yesterday, and then we took it down there and then took the Ross Township's tire back today.
Did it blow out or something, or?
We ran over a fence post and a big hole in it.
Oh.
So moved.
Cost, it's expensive to repair ditches, I know that.
But the tires were worn out too, so.
Hey, okay, but we got 'em so moved, and I'll second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
You breaking anything else over there?
No, that should be it.
All right.
And then on the 24th of October, the Crown is coming to spray all the trucks for winter, where they spray the oil on them. That's on the 24th. I think the fire department has that too. And then last, Rob would like a resolution to have a speed study done on the Township section of Jenkins Road to possibly get the speed limit lowered from 55.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely, so
Second.
moved.
Second.
Mr. Cole?
You want to hold that until he comes back? He got an important phone call he had to take.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll wait till he
Okay.
steps back.
Okay. A speed study, who does that, Butler County?
Butler.
By Butler County. By Butler County. Okay. So do I need to, like, do something to give to Butler County?
I know, I figured.
Okay.
Are you ready? You ready to go, Daryl? Everything? Did you take care of your phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna go, we had a motion for a speed study
Okay.
on, what was the road?
Jenkins.
Jenkins, on the dead end side of Jenkins, for a speed study to be performed by the county.
Yeah.
So Tom made the motion, I
It's
second.
currently, anything not posted is 55. It's a
Right.
dead-end street, so we want to try to get it down to at least 25 or something more reasonable than 55, because you couldn't get 55, I don't think. I mean, it'd take a lot to
You'd
try.
be airborne at the end.
So I made the motion, he seconded it. Oh, now we're going to vote on it.
Okay. Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Broker?
Yes.
Brucker? Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay.
And that's
That's it?
all I got.
Okay. Dale?
All right, I don't have a report for you to follow, but we will start with this, the revenue summary for the third quarter through the year. As you can see, revenue for the whole entire third quarter through that with both the variances and the lot splits. It brings a total of $8,076 for the year of revenue into the zoning department. On the backside is the certificates starting for the fourth quarter, which is now till the end of the year, okay? The last two on the page are the newest ones. The green marks the third quarter. Okay. Last night at the zoning commission meeting, we finished looking at Chapter 17, the solar energy resolution. We are now in the process, or will be in the process of finalizing that and then sending it over to the Butler County Planning Commission as per standard procedure, and we'll go from there. We also looked at several definitions that were missing or needed revision. One of them was a deck. We don't have a definition for what a deck is. I had offered several examples, and we'll be looking at those to add into the definition section and then in places. We also added on to the Article 7.42, I believe it is, deals with permitted accessory structures, and detailing that just a little bit better, understandable due to some questions that I've been given and everything else too in the long run that I've had to answer, such as, can I build a tiny house on my property? Okay, and everything else. And I said, well, what are you going to use it for? And they said, well, basically for people to use with, to sleep in overnight or something like that, like a bed and breakfast, but not everything else like that. And I'm going, okay, so then it becomes an accessory structure. It's like, okay, and everything else. So we were trying to get that up. We added a list of other things that are considered accessory structures, just to tighten that area a little bit, but not overdo it.
Is there certain things that have to be in, like electric, plumbing, and that?
Yeah, on the tiny house.
Right, because we had an issue with somebody sleeping in
the
a
shed.
shed.
Yes.
So we don't want to.
Right. Yeah,
Open that up.
in this particular case, the lady has 3 parcels. It's down on Cincinnati Brookville Road. She's coming in on Monday to discuss this with me and everything else, and I discussed it with the zoning commission last night and everything else. But one of the parcels is 26 feet road frontage with 270 feet lot length. So it's this little narrow pencil going all the way down beside her lot. Now, she has 3 parcels where she's at there on Cincinnati Brookville Road. And if I don't mind, I don't think she'll mind. She lives directly across from Connie, okay? The 3 parcels are directly across from Connie there on Cincinnati Brookville Road. And she would like to put a tiny house on there. Well, the one requirement for any lot in Morgan Township is will the Board of Health approve you to put in a septic system for the program? So that'll be the first, one of the things that I stress with her. I don't mind, you could probably do it, but can you get a septic system there?
So will she have to go for a variance so she doesn't have 200 foot of road frontage?
Right. Well, no, that it's if I may use the term, Susan, it is an existing lot of record.
Okay.
Therefore, therefore it falls under
Okay.
19.11, even at the top of the page, 19.11, and where it's less than 200 feet of road frontage. So it's 10% of the road frontage. Well, 10% is 26 is 2 or 3 if you want to think about it, but the minimum is 15 feet. So I don't think she even makes setbacks. She would have to go for a variance just to
Okay.
even put it on there. Okay.
All right.
And see, with that, that was pretty much it. We had a really good discussion over the definitions and looked them over again to make sure that the specific ones that we've been having issues with and everything else to try to, as I've gone to one of the webinars that I've watched on is a gentleman from Springfield Township up in the Toledo area in Lucas County. And he is been a presenter at the OTA in the zoning areas and other things like that. He's very good. And he did a seminar on just keeping your zoning regulations up to date. And that's one of the things he keeps reminding people, is that you want to make sure that you're up to date, that you can do things and not harm the situation any more than you possibly can. And that's what we're going to try to do, because finding us in the situation we are right now is all because of our regulations in a great way, okay? And so we just kind of give a little tightness to it, but yet still be flexible enough to do what we're trying to do. In that respect, I had a copy of something I was going to give you. There is a training session, it's an in-person training session in Columbus on the 20th of October. It requires traveling to Columbus, and it has several big things on it, and one of the things on it is revising your zoning piece again, and focusing in on several other things along the way. This is the one that Ted and I attended about 2 years ago. I would ask your permission if I may go. Okay.
Is there a cost for the training?
$35.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this by OTA?
By the OTA, yes.
So by us paying for those, is that?
No, it doesn't
don't
start till next
the
year.
beginning of the
Okay.
year.
Yeah, it doesn't start till next
Okay.
year, yeah. And everything else, so I'll pay the $35 and then mileage, and that would be all I need, okay?
You're not staying overnight?
Oh, no,
Okay.
it's an up and back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
an
don't
up
have
and
a
back.
problem
Is
with
that
that.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
thank
That's
you.
fine.
Absolutely. You mentioned something about deck. When you talked to the zoning commission board, you said we didn't have a good definition.
Well,
of
we
it.
don't have a definition at all. If you
Of
look
a
at
deck.
if you look at Article 4, there's no definition for deck at all.
Okay, so if we don't have a definition for deck, we don't have a definition for overhang, and we don't have a definition for stairs, do we?
We don't have for stairs, that's true, and we don't have for overhang, and that's two of the ones we look, well, we didn't look at stairs last night, but we talked about overhang. And we'll be adding it.
When do we get the verbiage together to define this? Because if we don't have this, we need it as quickly as we can get it. Are they working on this then?
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter because when you put any revision into your resolution,
Yeah.
it grandfathers everything in.
Well, I'm sorry, I know, but going forward.
Going forward.
We got to fix it from here forward.
Right, I understand that, Jeff. The thing of it, I'm going to work as quickly as I can on those definitions, so
Okay.
that we will, in the November 1st zoning commission, we will focus on what I present to them as what we've talked about after reading the minutes and listening to what we said about it, and then actually coming up with the actual definitions, okay? It will go through the same process as we've gone through before on everything else. We will send it over to the BCPC to get their kind of comments and approval. It's the steps we have to take. It comes back to us. We approve our definition in the zoning, and we present it to you for your approval, okay?
Okay.
And that's the way it works.
And you said we don't have one for the stair, but you're going to do the same process for
I'll
the
do
stairs?
the same process for the stairs.
Okay.
I'll look up what stairs are and where they're located, and virtually you've got to do stairs indoors and stairs outdoors, so.
Usually, we kind of mirror what the county has from our starting point. If we don't have anything, we look and see how
Well,
they
as
are coding.
Daryl will probably tell you that most of our zoning regulation was built on the county rural zoning, wasn't it, Daryl? Back when it was first started. And most of the verbiage in there today still is it mimics the Butler County rural area, unless we found a problem that's specific to Morgan Township, and Ed or myself or the previous administrators made a change to it, okay?
Okay.
The zoning regulations is a fluid document. You've got to understand that. And if you're looking at it, and that's the one thing the gentleman from Springfield Township really put forward. He said it's a fluid document. You've got to keep looking at it. Does it really fit what's going on today? Does it look, do you need to make changes? Do you need to lower some of the standards? Do you need to raise some of the standards, or any of those, like that? But I will put stairs into the mix, okay?
Okay. Do we already have a motion or something in the record that we are seeking a zoning enforcement officer?
No, we do not. I don't have an attached, I can send out a notice over Facebook and put it on Nextdoor.
I mean, as far as the board is concerned, do you, Tom or Daryl, do you remember us ever
No, we
officially?
did
I don't
not.
think we
No, we
ever
did not.
approved it. We
can-
talked about it.
The only reason why it got brought back up was because of Michael.
Right.
Michael Hodges,
Okay.
coming in and saying, hey, I'd like to be.
Okay, so
Okay.
if we have somebody coming on board, whether they do it gratis or did we do it pay, the board is gonna have to make some kind of a motion to seek this arrangement.
Yes.
Right.
So,
To give them their authority.
well, yes,
Yeah,
to say that
right,
this
to
is a
give them that authority.
legitimate function of the township zoning
Yeah.
office.
And I only caution you that if you do it gratis, it please your liability. You've got to watch out for that.
Well, I'm
because-
covering all bases. I don't know where we're gonna go, who we're
Yeah,
gonna get.
understand. It's just that we're a government entity that's open for anything or people shooting at us all the time in some form
Yeah.
or fashion. And you've got to just make sure your liability.
Okay, well, then
is-
we'll leave
is
we'll leave it
covering
a motion to pursue without definition of what a salary, we'll have to consider the salary, the budget, hours worked, scope, job description, all of that. But I think we go ahead and look for somebody and then factor all the rest of those questions in.
Then we'll make a motion once we find a viable candidate. We'll make the motion,
Yeah.
or we'll approve a motion with a salary and,
Based on his credential, based on what he brings to the
Right.
job, that would be the logical thing to do. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to do a job search for a zoning administrator,
Zoning enforcement officer.
zoning enforcement officer.
I'm not
Sorry,
leaving
Dale. Zoning enforcement officer that would be working in conjunction with our zoning director.
I'll second.
Mr. Cole?
Okay, yeah,
Mr. Huff?
I'll amend that. I entertained, but I'll make that motion then, and then he'll second it.
Is there some way I could, well, if I write it up, can you have it placed on the front page of the
yep.
township as
Yep.
well? And I'll send it off to Nextdoor and then Facebook. See
Okay.
what we get from there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do our motion here. Mr. Cole?
Yes,
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
okay. Anything else, Dale?
Well, just an update on where the BZA meeting is at. The letters to the neighbors have been sent out, certified mail. They probably should have been in their boxes today, if not, at the latest. And everything else. The next step in that is for me to put the package together for the BZA members to be able to understand what's going on with it. And then writing my staff recommendations, et cetera, and then just waiting for the meeting to happen, okay? At that point. There's miscellaneous piece that I've got is the fire-destroyed house in the trailer park. I received a call from a resident in the area concerned about the fact that the house was being taken apart and the possibility that all the parts of the house that were taken off, I understand it's down to a flat surface now, have been placed in the back end, on the field in the back end of the mobile home parking lot. And everything else, I'm going to be squeezing that into my time somewhere along the way to find out if he has actually. My understanding from what I've heard from the zoning commission last night, the two people who were aware of what was happening over there, is that the people who lived in the particular house that burned have abandoned the property, and it's come back to the owner of the trailer park. And so there's me understanding what I can do in terms of the trailer park, because the trailer park is also under Ohio government regulations, and there's an inspections of them every year or every 2 years. And so I'm not sure where I stand in being able to follow through on all of this. So it's really got a little complicated there in that respect, and everything else. Then the trying to get down to, what is it, 77 something, the dead end of South Dwyer in those containers down there.
Okay.
Okay. I will do that. I think that was it for me. Okay. Any questions for me? Any
Nope,
other things?
none here, I think. All right, thanks, Dale.
Yeah.
Tina?
Okay, I need a motion to approve PO to LCNB National Bank for the equipment bond installment payment due November 1st, 2023, in the amount of $23,718 from Fund 2111, which $22,600 is principal and $1,118 is the interest.
But what was this for?
The squad payment?
Squad,
It's,
okay.
yeah, it's an equipment bond installment.
Gotcha. So moved?
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. I also need a motion to approve a PO to John R. Jurgensen Company in the amount of $17,098.25 from Fund 1000 for the line painting on Race Lane Road.
Second?
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Hey, Mark?
That's just for line painting, $17,000?
Yeah, they revised it from 20,600 and something because they charged us too much.
Okay.
You said something about they split it with Ross?
Not on Race Lane.
Not
no.
recently.
Oh, for a
That
more,
would be Morgan Roth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were you out there when they did those line stripings? They didn't paint that. That's like a tape.
Yeah, it's a better line, I do know.
It is slippery though. Yeah, when you step on that, if
Some
it's,
sort of like a plastic maybe, or,
yeah,
I'm not really sure, but yes.
okay. We got you covered here?
Yes,
You got a
no.
roll call?
I got more. When you're done.
Have we ever done that before? That kind of line?
I don't think we have.
I don't either.
Some sort of.
I'm gonna go out and look at it, yeah.
Striping, yes.
I think that's what you see up on the section of 126 that they paved too, right? Because it is so different at night to see it.
Shows up better at night.
It looks yellow. It looks yellow in the daytime, but almost white at night.
And it lasts a lot longer.
If it lasts longer, yeah, but like you said, it won't peel up like salt, nothing will hurt that, it won't come up, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I need a motion to approve the resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024, as written, along with the attached schedules A and B as written.
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay. I also, from the fire department, sent over the Medi-Count Client Services Agreement. It needs to be approved and signed by the trustee.
The Medi-Count custom,
Yeah, they're the ones that, do you want, they collect.
It's renewal of our contract with them.
That's the billing, yeah.
oh,
We had
Yeah.
to enter into it, there was a slight increase in fees, everybody was going up, but otherwise it stayed the same.
okay.
Yeah, I gave you guys a copy in your
Okay.
outboxes.
Somebody signed, so I had to send it back to them.
Okay. Do you need a do you need a
Yeah, I'd
vote
like a
on that?
motion to
So-
approve it.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff? Yes. Motion approved. Okay, and the only other thing I have is, we received an invoice that the fire department gave us from National Host Testing Specialties Incorporated. We're going to need a motion to approve the invoice amount. Back in January, it was approved to sign a contract with them to do the host testing, but there wasn't an amount. So I need a then and now PO because this invoice is dated June 7th for 2 National Host Testing Specialties for $3,108.
Still the same price?
I don't know.
Okay. Chief says it was,
Okay.
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Daryl?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Tom?
Nope, I have nothing.
Okay, I have two things. I just wanted to read into the record the receipt of, we got a letter from the Schulteises and Turners concerning the information that's being requested. And we had a discussion this week about that information. And Dale has already printed out any email correspondence, so you're welcome to get copies of that as well. And also anything that you need as far as our records are concerned, just let us know. I know you talked a couple things here. We just need to be as specific as possible so we can.
One person, one property.
Well, but I mean, as far as what you want concerning that one person, one property. So that will help us get what we're looking for.
Any changes on the bill? Any
Okay.
communication and changes on the bill?
Got it.
That's it.
Okay.
I can't get any more narrow than.
No, that's pretty narrow. That's, you didn't need to get the letter. I got that straight up. Okay, we'll work on that. Maybe we can talk a little bit afterwards too to make sure we got the right spots for you. Okay, and also we have Mr. Rick Walters here today.
Yes.
Concerning the dead end of Jenkins Road. So,
Yeah,
sir.
I need to come up or-
Yes, sir. Introduce yourself and
Okay.
tell us what you need.
I'm Rick Walters. I'm sorry. You're good. I don't know if I need that or not. I'm actually at the end of Jenkins Road where Rob wants that study done. First of all, I'm not here to cause controversy for nobody. I just want a solution
Right.
to be able to keep my family safe.
We understand.
My concern most is just to slow people down. So to make a long story short, after years and years of trying to talk to neighbors and tell them my concerns about what I feel like they're doing, putting my family in danger, animals, anybody walking in the street, it is kind of fell on deaf ears. I've actually been in a neighbor's house before and spoke with them in their living room. And I'm going to try not to name specific names. The husband looked at the wife and said, "Just slow down." At that point, I thought everything was taken care of, but apparently it has not been. There's been many incidences when you said about coming down that road at 55 miles an hour. I've seen it. I have seen tires come off the road and hear them squeak when they hit the road back again.
Okay.
That is putting my family in danger. That's putting my animals in danger. That's putting anybody that walks in that roadway in danger. So at that point, I put cones in the driveway. And I made it so you had to go around the cones and slow down.
Are they going past your house or, but
My-
it's the drive just
Yeah.
across the
My
street
house
from
is
you?
at the dead end.
Right, so there's nothing past there.
No, I'm at the dead end.
Okay.
My barn is on the right-hand side before
Yeah.
that.
So you gotta
So-
be slowing down to make that turn to your neighbor's house. You can't
would think
can't
so.
keep going 55 and keep going straight. You're in the woods then, right?
I don't know what part you're talking about.
If you're, where the cones are, if you're doing 55 miles an hour where the cones are right now, you wouldn't be able to stop by the time you hit the end of that road,
No,
right?
no. And
Okay.
I've had that situation already with a FedEx driver where he came to a screeching stop at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the speeding is taking place before your property, decelerating to make your neighbors turn into their driveway.
Well, they're before me, coming down the road. So if you come down the road, it's a long, single-lane, unmarked road, okay? I could care less how fast they go there because the only thing they're gonna hit is a deer, and you can see everything above you. But when you come down, you come over where my sister's mailbox is, you cannot see over that hill once you go down in that dip. And I've asked everybody, please, at that point, slow down to 15, 20 miles an hour so you know what's on the other side so you don't end up, we can't take a funeral back. We can't take a death back. I want to stop that from happening. So right when you come over the hill, after my sister's driveway and right at my barn lot, I put cones in the driveway so people had to go around them to do exactly what they were supposed to do. What my intentions was to slow down, but that apparently made them mad because they was effective and they had to slow down.
Okay,
I've
'cause-
actually seen her just come out and drive right over top of the cones just to kind of say,
Okay.
you know.
'Cause
And
when
I
I
stood there and I watched it.
When I was out there, I saw one or two of the cones past their driveway.
Yes.
I guess you're heading
Towards my house,
west.
yes. And I
You're
put
heading
those-
west, going down Jenkins.
Yeah,
on
and I
that
put
side.
those there to slow down FedEx, UPS, USPS.
To let
I've
them-
had conversations with everybody, and a lot of them
Okay.
not very civil.
Okay.
You know, not that I'm proud of that, but I had it up to here.
Okay.
You know, when they come to a screech and stop at my house and they're putting everything in danger, I've had enough. All I want is a solution.
Well, we got
So-
two proposals here. One is changing this, posting the speed limit signs. That's a no-brainer.
Well, before you
Go
go on,
ahead.
with all due respect,
Yeah.
that is not gonna stop them from speed.
Well, the only thing it does is it puts the crime into the police hands, because now we've got a posted speed limit. It's not a 55-mile-an-hour road. Because if it's not posted, it's 55.
Right, Rob told me that, yeah.
Step one. Step two, we can put a speed radar down there to track, to show. I don't think that speed radar stuff you can't keep a track of how, on our signs.
You can record, it'll tell you that somebody went 55 miles an hour, but you don't know who.
It's gonna be ineffective.
Yeah.
The effective thing that's going to happen, that's going to put an stop to everything, is to put a speed hump down there.
I don't see how we can do that, though.
I've talked to Rob about it, and he said that in the beginning, he was like, I don't want to raise my plow. He said, but he said, to let you know, I was in Wyoming, and he said they do have humps that are longer gradual humps that my plow will go over.
So we would have to pay for that. We
Right.
would have to do that, but will we have to get county approval to do that?
That's a
as well?
township road. I think.
That
we'd be
would
fine.
put an end to everything. I would not have another word to say anything about it because it would do its job. Point blank.
Okay. Well,
That's what
let
I
us,
said.
In,
want a speed
in
hump.
Florida, they have
All right.
what you're talking about. It's probably about a 3-foot.
Yeah, and it's a gradual.
They call it a speed table. That's
Yeah.
what they call it. It's not a
Yes.
hump. It's a table because it's so wide.
Yes.
And you go over and you have to slow down or your front end's going to come off your car or truck.
Yeah, you know, and then, you know, with retrospect, they said that, you know, one of the things was that the emergency vehicles would lose time if they had to come down there. Well, in the last 35 years that I've lived there, we've had emergency vehicles down there twice, okay? Now, with all the other neighbors, including my family that lives off to the right, I've scorned them over and over again about speed. But along with that, there's tenfold of traffic down there now from what it was when we first moved down there. You know, and if you average that out of the possibility of maybe an emergency vehicle coming down there, which has happened 2 times in the last 35 years, that if you do it by 10 times a day of people coming in and out of there, comes out to 3,640 times a year that you're putting people in danger of people speeding. So it's not even comparable. Not even comparable whatsoever. All I want is a solution. That's it.
you know, that road is not in a very good condition to begin with.
Right, yeah, it's been a long time since it's been paved, but, you know, that, my bottom line is just I want to keep it safe. I don't want to have controversy with people. I
Right.
don't want to have to scream at people. I don't want to have to go after UPS and USPS, and I've had conversations with USPS and FedEx, all of them. You know, and I've had it. I'm at my limit. And, you know, when he said you have to take the cones up, and I was like, well, why? Because they're effective? Because it slowed people down and it, you know, got them out of their comfort zone that they had to actually look, you know, and see what was around them to miss cones to go around them.
Do
know?
you have recollections of how many issues of conversations you've had with UPS, FedEx, and
Multiple.
all those?
Multiple
Would you mind?
times.
Would you do this for me? Would you put those together with the best you can recollect and email those to me? Rob's on vacation this week. When he comes back, we'll sit down with Rob and Mark and see what we can do down there.
Okay.
And we'll try to, if it's just a matter of a truckload of blacktop. Or,
Absolutely.
and we can do it the right way?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I would praise you guys from one end to the other to make that happen, because it would put a dead stop to every issue that I have down there. Then I wouldn't have to go through the
Okay.
having the neighbors mad at me because I have cones out there that they have to slow down to go around.
The one thing that we would have to do is make sure it complies with either the state or the county regulations and guidelines, and that's the Butler County Engineer's Office. So we would comply with their guidelines for what we do, so we're not out of scope on building up something down there that's could be detrimental to you, your neighbors, the commercial community, and us. So we need to do it the right way. So, but we'll take this on.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
I
appreciate
think we can get that interaction with the county engineer's office when we do the speed study. And they may have some other suggestions too.
They may have run into this before,
Right.
like you said, that maybe or somebody brought that to their attention before,
Right.
and how they handled it anyway, you know.
Right.
Well, I don't know county for county how it goes, but I know that my aunts lived on Timbercrest in Western Hills, and they had a long road like we did, but it was, in a subdivision, and they put 3 of those humps in, and it stopped it immediately.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for bringing this to our attention. Appreciate
Okay.
your time coming up here.
One other thing, I don't know if anything could be done sign-wise or whatever. I have almost daily traffic come down for Young's, for the Young's company, the excavating or whatever they are, the fabrication company that's on the adjacent driveway to, what is that? South. It's not considered Southwind there, is it?
Yeah,
It's continued.
Oh, okay. I thought that changed name to a Win or whatever.
Like at the very bottom, it turns into Wayne Lane.
Okay.
That's still sounds.
Well, I have them come down very often, almost a daily basis. And sometimes there are tractor trailers that come down there, which is just, something that shouldn't happen, especially on a road like that where it's starting to fall apart anyway, to have tractor trailers come down there. I
Are
don't know
they
if there's any
lost?
way.
Are they lost? Or
Yes.
They made the wrong turn.
Yeah, I had one down there this morning, and I've had them down there literally almost every day. Every time they have a delivery, they come down my driveway. So it's just on a, tear on the road that really doesn't need to happen. I don't know if there's any way to put I don't know business-wise if there's allowed to be some type of sign at the top of their driveway or.
it wouldn't take much. It might like a campaign sign, and you could just put it up there and have Young's, whatever their corporation is, and direct them down the right path.
Yeah, because I can't even get they can't even get a tractor trailer turned around back there even to go in back into my barn lot without taking out the electric and everything else that's on the other side or the phones. And he had to back all the way up. And you talk about getting stuck with an emergency vehicle. He had to back the whole way up that road with a semi.
I bet he doesn't do that twice.
Yes, yeah. Well, he's not the first one either that had to do that.
All right.
So,
Well,
again, I appreciate your time
all right,
and
Rick.
just a solution. That's
Thank
all I
you.
want is a solution.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have a feedback from Mr. Sawyer? Is he inbound? Can you get him? Okay, I will make a motion to adjourn into executive session for personnel issues.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a
Mr.
second?
Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yeah.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved for executive
Okay.
session at
10:43.
10:44 a.m.
Did you bring that stuff?
Oh,
You didn't ask if there was anybody else from the audience? You said okay to him and you walked away, but you didn't say, does anybody else in the audience have anything?
I thought you had we had
No,
addressed.
no.
Well, we'll be in executive section when we come out. We'll go ahead and,
Okay, I'll do it.
okay.
all right then.
This is what they asked for here for the. It's include
You gonna turn on the?
Get
It's
your
gone.
rules of Roberts in order there.
Okay, it is 12:06, and I will make the motion to come out of executive session.
Second?
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Motion approved, Dr. Stoll.
Okay. Mrs. Schulteis?
Is the mic still on?
Yes, ma'am. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. On August the 24th, the special meeting that we had, about an hour and 7 minutes into that meeting, you had made a comment and you brought up information that I'd like to know where you received your information, Mr. Kolb, from
Yeah.
a civil lawsuit that was confidential between me and 6875.
I'm not familiar. Could you give me a little more detail?
Yeah, I will.
That's
You
what
said that because you know, this is your talking, because I, quote, because I know in the judgment, in the stipulation for dismissal, that there was water being shed onto your property that created an agricultural hazard for animals to be on that property. In the back of my mind, I said, what does that have to do with the zoning violation? And that is why, and then I interrupted and said, that has nothing to do with this zoning violation. You're bringing up a civil lawsuit. And you said, yeah, it does, because I think Mr. Gaines addressed the water flow issue. Did you not? You said to Chris, and Chris turned around and said, I did. That lawsuit information, I'd like to know where you got your information from.
On the full context of what we were speaking about, I'm not familiar what happened, what we talked about prior to that, or what we talked about post that. So you've got me in the dark. I am not sure exactly what your question is.
You're referencing,
So what was your
where did you get the documentation or the information that you were disclosing publicly?
all the information that I had were given to me by you
No, sir.
with you had a copy of the summary judgments, you had a copy
That was from my fence.
of the motion for dismissal.
That was on my fence.
That was all that I ever had.
You were talking about water. You were talking about a stipulation for dismissal that was water
Well,
being shed. And, let me finish, Mr. Chris also says, yeah, that's when you sued us for your sub pump water runoff and we mediated with the right and there was a judgment that was dismissed with prejudice. Now, Chris Gaines is also disclosing confidential information. He is a zoning board member, and that is not ethically correct
Let's
to
correct that,
disclose.
please. He's a Board of Zoning Appeals.
I do
member.
remember the situation where the runoff was causing an incident associated with animals on your property, right? Wasn't there a runoff issue that said that your property was getting saturated?
That is the technical
Okay, I'm just trying to put this all in context.
I'm trying to make sure I get the correct wording here. That is the technical trespass of a civil lawsuit that we had on Chris because he was told he'd hit water at 5 and he went 14 feet in the ground, and that's what instigated that
Yeah,
lawsuit.
and that's when you filed the suit.
Had nothing to
correct?
do with this 8/24 meeting.
But
And that's why I'm
something-
asking, why was it brought in?
But something caused him to mitigate this situation. He put in the drain, did not he put in the drainage to eliminate that flow of water?
Let me go back to my initial question. This is a civil lawsuit. Had nothing to do with zoning. Had nothing to do with a deck violation. And yet, the confidential information was introduced by you and Chris in the statements that I just read about an hour into our hearing on the 24th of August. If somebody wants to look it up, that introduced confidential information. That
I
is,
don't know what,
that
there
is-
was no confidential information.
you were reading
that-
from a document. You were reading
If
from.
I was reading from a document, it's not confidential information because it would have come through the court system. It was all public information.
Okay, then let's back up here a minute. You said on the 24th, you spent all morning in the prosecutor's office. And when I asked you.
I did not say that because remember, I looked at my
You
calendar.
did. You looked it up and you corrected and you
I
said
looked
you
at
were
my
on the
calendar,
phone. And I
and
said,
I-
who did you talk to?
And I said that was the phone call, and you said, what did you talk about?
Who did you talk to?
And
That was my
said
question.
I said that was an issue, an investigation, detailed information concerning an ongoing legal condition, situation in the township, and that's proprietary between when we speak with the prosecutor on a legal issue, that is considered a confidential discussion.
Mr. Cole,
Now,
you
Now,
said you
you
were up.
can make that more of what you want it to be, but I'm afraid that
Mr. Cole.
that's the best we can do.
I transcribe every word that is said in every meeting. I handwrite. I spend hours on this. So when I say you make a remark, you do not want to keep pounding, or do you want to keep pounding, or do you want to cooperate? That is a statement you made.
Do I need to keep, could you quote the
Sure.
whole context, please?
Sure. This was right before you brought up the water issue. Mr. Cole, is that something, or do we have to deal with it, or will we have to deal with this if you cannot reconcile this? So the ball is in your court. Do you want to keep pounding, or do you want to cooperate? That is when we were saying we're not going to compromise with what the zoning law says, because the zoning law says nothing in the 25 feet setback. And Mr. Bruckner just previously had made a remark, well, how much will you allow? 1 or 2 feet? No. The zoning law says, as written, right now, 25 feet setback. No compromise. You were trying to get us to compromise and cooperate. We are saying, and we have always said and always asked, please enforce the zoning as written. Started in '05 and we continue. It is not being enforced. We are receiving a variance request on a violation. That is not the way the zoning is written. Zoning is written that if you don't honor the 25 feet setback, you get written up, and the way the Ohio Revised Code recommends it, send a letter to the person to say you are in violation of the 25-foot setback. You have exactly 30 days to comply, or every day after that we will fine you $500 per violation per day. That's the way the Ohio Revised Code recommends it, not hiring a lawyer and suing somebody for a legal offense. That's not how they would recommend to save taxpayer dollars. You would do it that way. This thing has been in violation since 2016, when we were told it would be cut off. Now that's going to lead me into the next question. Chris keeps saying, and has said multiple times, and you said, so by statute, the deck is in compliance with all zoning guidelines for this township. That was on 9/11. That was 9 minutes and 36 seconds into the discussion. So you say by statute. I'd like to know what statute, because there is no zoning certificate, there is no drawing, and there is no building permit on this property. So how can you sit there and say by statute the deck is in compliance with all zoning guidelines for the township, and Dale sits there and shakes his head, yes, yes. No, it's not. So Chris Gaines comes by and says, you gave me permission. I don't know how many times I've written that down in my notes, transcribing. You gave me permission. So my question is, where is the permission that Mr. Gaines received to violate the zoning code? And if it's this is a mistake. He is not an existing lot of record. And why would you send me a letter and Tony a letter saying Chris Gaines is legal, but Chris Gaines doesn't have a letter that says I'm allowed to violate the zoning code? Chris Gaines doesn't have any documentation allowing him to put steps and saying he wants 10-foot cut off a 25-foot setback. That, people, is not how you enforce zoning. That's where we've got a problem. And where is Chris Gaines' letter that says he's allowed to do this?
You have, to summarize, you have an issue with the deck.
I have an issue with enforcement at the zoning at this
That's
township.
right. That's what I said, basically.
Where's his letter
You
to
have
permit
it.
him to do what he's doing?
I will have to let our zoning department answer that question, but
You were able to write and
if-
sign this letter. You were able to write and sign this letter, Dale Marshall, acting zoning administrator, Brett Updike, Tom Bruckner, and Jeff Kolb. You wrote this letter and you signed it. And you referenced section 19.812, which is for existing lots of record, which he is not. He is a new construction. And you wrote a letter to us saying that Chris Gaines can pretty well do whatever he wants, but Chris Gaines doesn't have a letter. He doesn't have that information there. And
Could-
I have asked for freedom of information, and I've got no letter from that, no proof.
the issues that we have right now are three, the way I see it: the deck, the stairs, and the overhang. Can I just get a consensus that those are your three issues?
No, I have one issue. Enforcement.
But
One issue.
Enforcement of what?
The zoning code. The
Of
zoning
what
code.
issue? Of what is the
Overhang,
issue?
overhang,
That was
overhang,
one of the
overhang.
three, okay?
There is no allowance for overhang in the zoning code. Ed Teets had it exactly right
That's
when he
right.
said,
That's
25
right.
feet, no exception.
25 foot, and the columns of the deck are
Not,
25 foot.
that's not in the book, Mr. Kolb. It says 25-foot side yard site clearance. There is no overhang in that zoning book.
That is
None.
right. That's right. So we meet.
So you're trying to make a change right now, but I'm saying if it was enforced, like we were told in 2016, that deck would
All
be
I've-
cut off, we would not be here today.
I can only go by our current zoning guidelines.
And it's not
And
in
it
there.
says, Dale, do we have a 25-foot setback from the side lot
Yes,
at Chris Gaines's house?
Yes.
Okay.
At the pillar,
Does he meet that?
at the pillar.
Does he meet that?
if I may state it, from the pillar, because that was the way Ed did it.
Okay, so
Okay.
he's meeting the setbacks. He's got an overhang.
I only can speak to what I know Ed did, okay? He did it from there.
Okay, then let's go back to my
And-
last question.
And he okayed it, so,
Okay, so
He okayed it with a 25-foot setback, and he said it would be cut off. He told me he would be cut off because he said nothing in that 20, absolutely.
What he told you is hearsay.
No, it is written
No.
document that you guys have
Whatever
received.
whatever he told you.
I gave you
is
an email.
We're only staying with the guidelines of the zoning as best that we can do as of today. We have a board of zoning variance
Okay,
that is
I-
going to meet on the 18th to address the setback issue.
Okay,
And I
so-
think that's kind of what you wanted. Is that not right?
No, I would like a correction of your statement here that says, so by statute, the deck is in compliance with all zoning guidelines for this township. That is not correct. That is not an honest statement to these township people who say, and might be listening, oh, I can pretty well do whatever I want, and then later if I get caught, I'll just put in for a variance. That you're not following your zoning guidelines. That is my problem.
We enforce the zoning guidelines.
You did not.
And we are not.
You
we
did
are
not.
not advocating the adherence to the guidelines. Now, Susan, I don't know why. I don't know where.
Let me go back to my original question. Where did you get your documentation that you presented and that Chris also presented
So
about the
what I
water
would
runoff?
ask you to do is make your statement.
I did,
And
I'm
then
asking.
conclude this, because this is getting to the point of
I'm
being
looking for an answer here.
ridiculous.
You were reading a document that you referenced. Because I know in the judgment, and you were reading the document, in the stipulation for dismissal, that there was water being shed onto your property that create, what document were you reading
I have no
from?
documents. I don't know
You had a
exactly
whole
what
stack
you're
of them in
talking
front of you
about.
that day.
The only thing I had was the documents that you provided.
No, no, sir.
If there was not something in that document that you provided, then if it was discussed here, I think everybody knows there was a watershed issue that you had sued him for and that he addressed and had a mitigating action to fix it. That's all I know. I don't know what else you want.
Okay, Chris then violated a confidential release because that information was confidential. I'm asking, what did you receive it? When did you receive it? Who did you get it from? Because you were talking to it and reading off of it.
You
Now
have
you're telling me that
supplied,
it didn't exist.
Ms. Schulteis, You have supplied a request for information.
I did.
To the township.
Yes.
And we have addressed that, and we are addressing this for whatever that you need. If you need anything else, please put it in, send it to us. Put
Oh, I
it in
have.
writing, and we will continue to address this week after week after week.
He does. He does. They did. I gave it to him. I don't have it with me today, but they've received multiple copies of it, and I sent it in an email, and I do have it in writing. It is not hearsay. We were told, Mr. Gaines knows what the setbacks are. Mr. Gaines will cut it off. He'll be over at his house. I'm trying to, from memory, roughly, he'll be over at his house this weekend if you want to see him. No, I don't go over there. So no, I am saying, you can't tell me who you talked to the day that you said you spent all day at the prosecutor's office. You can't tell me where you got the information that you cited in the meeting. You cannot say that it created an agricultural hazard, and then Chris brings it up. That was confidential information and should have never been disclosed to anyone at any time at this point and in this meeting, because it was a civil lawsuit totally outside of this realm. And I'm trying to find out who breached the confidential agreement that I had with the courts.
I'm not a lawyer, but I have never heard of a civil lawsuit being confidential information that
The
was
confidential
resolved in a
agreement,
court.
did you, on the top,
So
confidential
Susan,
release.
I don't know, I don't exactly know what you're talking about, and I don't know how to answer your question.
It's called
So
ethics.
If you would
It's
go ahead and make
called
your
ethics.
statement and conclude this, we will move on.
So you did not talk to anybody in the prosecutor's office
Make
about?
your statement.
asking a
Make your
question.
statement, or we will motion to conclude this
Well, if you're
this
not gonna
session.
answer the questions, I guess we can just stop it now. Well,
Great.
one more. The deck is, you said, by statute, the deck is in compliance. How is that possible? No
Okay,
drawings,
That was your statement, and I appreciate you coming
no
up today.
certificates, and
I
no
appreciate-
building permits.
And if you need any information, the zoning department has all that, and they will be glad to share that with you.
You know, you have no zoning if you have no enforcement, and
Thank
we
you.
have none.
Thank you. All right, thank you for your comments. Okay, I will entertain a motion to conclude this session.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I will second. Darrell will
Okay.
second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. Meeting ending at
12:24.
12:24 PM.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See you later.
I gave it to you at the last meeting. I gave it to you on the 24th. On the 24th, it was in that packet.